The Wonderful World of Darklords. Report 41. Millennium City. Dear Diary, I had another weird dream last night. This time, I was sneaking through some overgrown castle full of thorns where everyone was asleep, and this, green witch lady captured me. She was gorgeous, and I thought maybe the dream was going to get fun, but it didn't. At least that grumpy skeleton guy and that purple guy with the stupid chin weren't in this one, but the black cat wasn't in it either, which is too bad. I like dreaming about the cat. He's such a cutie. Maybe I should talk to somebody in the psychology department about these dreams. They're so much nicer than the history department. I wish I'd gone into a different field. The other history professors are a bunch of know-it-alls. I know more than all of them put together, but they're always talking down to me. It doesn't matter how good my research is and how good my scholarship is, they make me feel little. Maybe one of these nights when I have that dream about turning into a skeleton and blasting people with death energy, I'll be blasting Professor Profion. A girl can hope. I have office hours in 10 minutes. I hope I see that cat on the way there. Not the black cat from my dreams. This one is white, and he has a cute little birthmark like a moon on his forehead. Sometimes he comes to me for scratches, and there's nothing like starting your date with cat snuggles. Hugs and kisses! Dear Diary, oh my morning lord. Okay, so after office hours, Professor Profion came in and told us that we were having a mandatory faculty meeting, which has always been a funny way to pronounce soul-sucking nightmare, but sure. We got there, and when I got ready to take notes, he started handing out this special ink and saying we needed to use it. So wonderful, Profion. First you're going to tell me how to teach my class, and now you're going to tell me how to take notes. I looked him right in the eye while I used my regular ink, and he got really mad and told me to use what he'd given me. I told him that if he ever said anything worth writing down, I would use whatever ink he wanted. Honestly, Diary, half the time he can't even remember whether the ruler of Falkovnia is named Vlad or Vladeska. How is he the department chair? That was when I noticed that next to me, Marina was acting really weird. She was just staring straight ahead like a zombie. I tried to get her attention, but she didn't move. The ink was all over her hands, and it looked like it was crawling up her arms, too. And when I looked around, everybody else was doing the same thing, just staring at nothing with the ink moving all over them. When I asked Profion what the hells was in that ink, he turned into a monster. I mean, literally turned into a monster. He looked like some kind of dragon, and he started trying to dump the ink bottle over my head and saying that he was going to steal my energy for his queen, and honestly, the only thing that I could think was trust Profion to forget that Millennium City isn't a monarchy. I had to hide under my desk to stop any of the ink from getting on me, and for some reason, that white cat was down there, and he started talking to me. He gave me a charm, and he told me to shout the words, "Stars! Power! Make up!" I didn't have any better ideas, so I listened to the talking cat. When I shouted the words, I changed. I looked sort of like a skeleton, like I do in my dreams sometimes, but I was really pretty for a skeleton, and my clothes had these stars on them that looked like the ones on tarot cards, and then I got to blast Profion into dust, and it was everything I dreamed it would be! The cat told me his name was Artemis, and that the queen that Profion was talking about was someone named Beryl, and she's... okay, let me see if I can remember all of this. So she's in some kind of weird hell dimension, and she's trying to steal energy from everyone in Millennium City to get enough power to escape, and she's also trying to find a silver crystal because some guy rejected her in a past life, and she wants to force him to be her boyfriend, I think? I don't know, he was talking for about 23 hours, and a lot of it wasn't important. But now, I'm supposed to stop her because I am the pretty guardian who fights for love and for freedom. I am Sailor Star! Hugs and kisses! Dear Diary, I didn't dream about any wild adventures last night. I dreamed about a baby. I was holding her, and I knew I'd do anything, anything, to keep her safe. I don't think she was my baby. I was maybe 15 in the dream, but who even knows with dreams? If Artemis is right, though, it might not have been a dream at all. He says that I used to be that person, I guess in another life or something. The girl who sneaks around in creepy castles and talks to a skeleton wizard and cuddles a baby. I have to say, I'm glad I'm not her anymore. Going by my dreams, she had a lot of adventures, but I don't think she was very happy. Maybe I'm having this baby dream because the Sailor Guardian thing has me feeling all protective. From what Artemis is saying, if that baby were in Millennium City, she'd need all the help she could get. All those people who keep disappearing? That's Beryl. Well, it's her generals anyway. Beryl never leaves the hell dimension she's stuck in, but she has these 4 generals, and they keep coming up with plans to steal energy from people. There's one named Jadeite who tries to take energy from a lot of people at once. He's the one who came after us that day, and if I had used that ink that Profion gave me, he would have killed the whole history department. And apparently that monster wasn't actually Profion. They killed Profion so they could replace him. I hated that condescending ass, but he didn't deserve that. I thought he'd been a monster all along. I think about that witch draining the life out of people, and I just want to... Well, it isn't very nice, I'll tell you that. So many people disappear in Millennium City all the time, or do worse than disappear. Before all this happened, I thought Snails was full of it when he told me that Ridley turned into a monster. I mean, yeah, Snails' best friend vanished, and that was very sad, but he didn't have to make up a crazy story about it. But now I think that one of Beryl's generals got to him. Apparently that's what another one of them does. Instead of going after a bunch of people, this Nephrite person picks out special people who can give him a bunch of energy and then turns them into monsters. Artemis looked kind of sad when he told me that. I don't know why. At least I'm not the only one protecting people. There's some other Sailor Guardian, Sailor Moon, and Artemis says that she's fighting Beryl too. She took out Jadeite a couple days ago, so now I'm just having to deal with Nephrite. I'm glad it isn't all on me. It'd be a lot of responsibility to think that I was the only person who could keep everyone safe. Hugs and kisses! Dear Diary, I don't even know where to start. So, I found out that Nephrite's been using some kind of crystal to take people's energy and turn them into monsters. Not the silver one. There are a lot of crystals. I can't keep them all straight. I asked Artemis if I could stop him by destroying the crystal, and Artemis got sad again, and I asked why, and he said I could, but... Okay. When Artemis said that I used to be this D person that I keep dreaming about, I thought he meant a past life, but he didn't. He meant less than a month ago. He meant that I was D, but then I came into Millennium City and I forgot. He thinks that something in me sensed the crystal and knew that Beryl's generals would come after me because I had so much energy, and that part of me locked the energy away so they wouldn't find it. And if I destroy the crystal, I won't need to hide anymore, and all of that energy will come back out, and that means I won't be me anymore. I'll be D. Forever. And I don't want to be D. I've been dreaming about her all month, and I don't think D wants to be D. She gets tortured and kidnapped and thrown off buildings, and it's for someone who's horrible to her. I think about what a arrogant, controlling snake Profion was, and how this skeleton wizard is so much worse, and there's no way I'm choosing that life. She's scared of him, like, really, really scared of him, but I think he's got her so twisted around that she doesn't even realize how awful he is, because if she did, she would just scream and scream and never stop screaming, and I don't want to be her. I want to eat and drink and breathe and not worry about whether I'm going to get killed for someone who isn't even nice to me. But I can't stop thinking about that baby. She's named for a flower. Rosie? Lily? I don't know, I can't quite remember. She needs somebody to take care of her. She has parents, but I don't know, I think they're just regular people, and they need someone to take care of them, too. If I don't destroy the crystal, if I stay me instead of turning back into her, they'll be alone, and they'll never even know what happened to her. But I can't do that. I can't leave them. Okay. If I survive this, then, Dee, you're gonna be the one reading this when we get back. Stop trusting him. I don't know why you're so scared of him, but I think you do. You just don't want to admit it. If he were good for you, he wouldn't make you feel like this. You have to know that. Hugs and kisses. Oh, hells, I wish I had written that in a different journal. Parting thoughts. Please, Hanset, I implore you not to take anything said by my other self to heart. It seems that she was attracted to Maleficent, after all. How insightful can she possibly be? She was well-meaning, but she was a simple soul, and she could not understand the complexities of my relationship with my beloved patron. Of course I fear you. I would be a fool not to fear you. That hardly precludes love and loyalty. You may have noticed that I am not burdened with an overabundance of humility. In all my life, I have knelt in homage once, and only once. If you believe in nothing else, believe in my pride, and know that I would not have done so without absolute sincerity. I love you. I swore it on bended knee that day, and they are not words I hold cheap. And as I have no particular urge to scream and never stop screaming, I hope you'll see that has not changed. On the subject of Millennium City, I hardly need to inform my patron that there's precedent for realms affecting the memories of those who enter them. When I passed through its borders, I was not the only one who believed that I had lived there my entire life. The faculty at Millennium University remembered me attending as a student, graduating with honors, and returning to teach. What's more, in addition to forgetting my magic, I lost the lion's share of my talents. For all of my other self's pride in her intellect, for instance, which, to be fair, still outshone the rest of the university's history department, I now know that it was far less than my own. I cannot say how much of this is an intrinsic property of Millennium City and how much of it is due to the crystal that Nephrite was using, but I did notice that no one I spoke to had memories of any life outside the city, including a handful of people who looked and sounded like Agrabanians. In retrospect, their presence is unsurprising. If Beryl is trying to use this silver crystal to gain control over someone she loved in a past life, and Jafar is seeking enchantment magic, the connections are fairly obvious. I attached a more thorough report on what I learned about Beryl after I no longer felt like I was thinking through several layers of cotton. One of the few benefits of being powerless in Millennium City was the respite from nightmares. I'm afraid that as soon as I regained my memories, they returned in force. Please, Yensid, I want them gone. I will gladly give up the need for sleep and consider it a blessing if it means ridding myself of these dreams in the process. I must ask one other favor of you. The nightmares, I know I have been speaking of them frequently, but believe me when I say that I have scarcely conveyed a fraction of how they have bedeviled me. Sometimes I awaken and genuinely fear that I'm going mad. For several minutes, I'm uncertain as to what is real and what was a perverse invention of my mind. I cannot overstate the toll that the exhaustion is taking on me either. I need to rest. I would consider it a great kindness if you would permit me to return to Salem for Yule in order that I might recuperate with my family. I will continue on my itinerary from there, and I will send you your next report as scheduled, but I am nearing my limit, and I cannot function to the best of my ability unless I take some time for my mind to heal. If I try to complete another report in my current state, I'm gonna wreck it. Love, D. Yensid? It's been 3 days. Is everything...
I will respond at my convenience, little servant. Not yours.
Understood. If I am simply to await your pleasure, I see no reason not to do so in Salem. Take what time you need.
The potency of the memory anomalies this domain places upon those that enter, as well as its own citizens to accommodate a single immigrant's place in the society, warrants further study, preferably conducted by someone with their mind fully intact. A challenging feat it would seem, but not impossible. I myself have witnessed the creation of entire domains. Within each, the inhabitants always lose the memories of their original land. In time, they remember nothing and believe that the transformed land, surrounded by mists and steeped in centuries of false history, is where they have always been. I have never encountered a land in which entire lives are rewritten in an instant. The sentient cat is likely correct, as suppressing memories is a clever way to hide power and truth from another. Regardless, research into these matters may reveal insights into Darkon's own memory anomalies. I shall conduct the experiment myself. Queen Beryl is nothing more than a lovesick commoner that rose above her station through borrowed enchantments. She did not lead her generals, she merely drives them. Their loyalty is only as strong as her power, and their fear of that power. If that power is destroyed, or that fear is broken, will they remain loyal? And if she manages to acquire the object of her obsession, the silver crystal, will they remain by her side? Or will they want that power for their own? Perhaps it is kinder for her never to succeed, for betrayal is the fate of all rulers. And if she managed to escape her imprisonment, she will never gain the love of a prince so far above her person, not only in birth, but in character. Enclosed with the letter is a box containing a plain ring carved from bone, inscribed with arcane runes of glowing malachite, as well as another letter that reads, I have stored some useful spell work within this ring, which shall assist you in fulfilling our goals. Also, as requested, your dreams shall no longer be an issue. In service to Darkon, A.
Dear Father, I have twice attempted to speculate on the applications of the enchantment magic in Millennium City, but my continuing resistance has not allowed me to complete a report. It seems that I can be of little use here. Suffice it to say that Millennium City contains a variety of magical crystals, any one of which might be an infinity stone, and that Beryl's aptitude for enchantment makes the presence of the enchantment stone likely. Although the stone in Maleficent's staff continues to be a strong candidate, her use of illusions and curses suggests a more generalized application. It seems more likely that Beryl is in possession of the stone. Of particular note is this silver crystal. Although it was difficult to pin down any concrete evidence of its abilities, Artemis's accounts suggest that it can be used to cast a wish spell, which would logically link it to conjuration. It is worth noting, however, that when it was used in the past, the strain of channeling its power was enough to kill its user. If you were to use the silver crystal without proper precautions, it may well destroy you in the process. Good. Use it and die, and I will dance on your grave. Oh, God damn it, I'm sleepwalking again. This has been The Wonderful World of Darklords. We have no affiliation with Disney or Wizards of the Coast. All music recordings used in this episode are in the public domain and were obtained through museopen.org. Titles and links are in the show notes. Dialogue for Yensid was written by Aslan Rex himself, who you can follow on Tumblr at Darklord Aslan. The Wonderful World of Darklords logo was designed by Haylight Jones. You can find links to their work in the show notes. If you'd like to support the show, look for us on patreon.com or find our tip jar on Red Circle. Thanks for listening. Hello, dear listeners. Normally the commentary on the D's Journal is a patron perk. There is a specific bit from the commentary that I wanted to make open to everyone because I really feel like I owe our listeners an explanation for kind of how dark things got with Dee at the end there. This is going to be getting into some of that emotional abuse, started out as subtext, is kind of becoming text, that was coming up pretty hard in Parting Thoughts, but I wanted to make sure that this explanation for why Dee is in such a bad place right now went to everybody, not just the patrons. I really feel like I owe all of you an explanation for the Parting Thoughts section, because I hated it. I genuinely hated it. And I know a lot of you probably hated it. Somebody on the Discord, I believe it was Robin on the Discord, like when we sprang the Thanos thing at the end of Black Cauldron, they asked me, why do you hate Dee? And I truthfully said, I love Dee. I adore Dee. Like, Dee is one of my favorite characters that I've ever written. And I know a lot of you guys love Dee too. And it absolutely killed me to write her groveling like that and debasing herself and making herself so small. And especially, any of you listening who have ever known someone who was in an abusive relationship, like especially someone who was a very strong-willed, very vibrant, alive person, seeing them making themselves so small for their abuser, it's one of the worst things in the world. I hate it. I hated writing it. The Thanos storyline, It's bad, it's putting Dee through a lot of stuff, but I won't lie, like the letters from the daughter, which if you missed the past couple commentaries, that's the name they came up with on the Discord for her communicating with Thanos' personality. The letters from the daughter, I actually do have a lot of fun writing. Like, they're horrible, they make my skin crawl, but I get to flex some horror writer muscles that I don't usually get to flex on this show. The horror doesn't usually go as hard as it does in those sections, and that's kind of fun for me. This was not fun. This was not fun at all. I hated it. But even as I was writing it and giving myself an ulcer, it felt right. I know this is where she is right now, and I need to think through why. And so I was thinking through why, and this does tie into that Thanos thing, because he is finally starting to break her. Ever since the Thanos episode, it started out small. That we're going to be hearing more about this. Incidentally, she mentioned wanting to go home for Yule, and there is going to be a letter to Binks that I'm going to be dropping on December 21st, which is Yule, where she visits her family. And we're going to be getting a little bit more about the effect that the dreams have been having on her and kind of the way that they progressed. They started as just kind of unquiet sleep, and it could kind of look like it was Bill Cipher doing it, but they've been getting worse and worse and worse. She's not sleeping. Sleep deprivation is a form of psychological torture. And on top of it just being straight up sleep deprivation, every time she does go to sleep, she's having these dreams that would fit in perfectly in the Nightmare Lands. They're just, essentially, every time she closes her eyes, her mind immediately starts spinning out ways to help Thanos commit war crimes. And spinning out ways, like, she is giving Thanos ideas for how to enslave herself to him every night. And that's breaking her. She's breaking down. Her will is getting eroded more and more every day. And even though Thanos is the one who's doing it, she's not only going to be breaking for him, she's breaking for Aslan too, because she just has so many fracture points, she can't hold herself together. So, again, I don't like this. I don't like where she is right now, and hopefully the fact that the author doesn't like where she is right now is, enough of a reassurance that she's not going to stay there for very long. But I felt as though I owed you, as listeners, an explanation, because I know, again, so many of you love Dee. And so many of you love how sassy Dee is, and how, she never takes guff from Aslan. And here she is taking all the guff from Aslan. And that's why. And yet another reason why we can all hope that this storyline ends with her punching Thanos in the face repeatedly. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for listening. Happy gaming. And you know what? No hail Thanos this time. Let's dance on his grave.